Hey everyone, welcome back. I love a good deep dive. And today we're going deep on Amazon.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
We're talking performance, their financials, where they're headed.
A lot to unpack.
Absolutely. And to help us make sense of it all, we've got their 2023 annual report.
But also, and this is really cool, we have CEO letters
Ooh,
from 1997
wow.
and 2023.
Oh, that's going to be a really fascinating kind of compare and contrast to see how their thinking has evolved.
Absolutely.
Okay, so first things first, the numbers. Amazon hit $575 billion in revenue for 2023. That's astronomical. Help me understand, what does that actually mean?
Yeah, so, that's a 12% jump from the year before.
Okay.
Which is, given kind of the economic headwinds, that's significant growth. It means they're not just surviving, they're thriving.
Right.
They're adapting to challenges.
Totally. And when we break it down, we see North America is still their biggest market.
For sure.
But AWS and their international efforts are no slouches either.
Exactly, yeah. And the international growth is particularly exciting, I think. Even looking at Mexico, which recently turned profitable.
Oh, wow.
For Amazon. So showing their global strategy really is taking root.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Now, this is where I did a double take in the report. Amazon actually reduced its cost to serve per unit this year.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened in years, has it?
I don't think so. It's a big deal, I think. Think about it from your perspective as a consumer.
Yeah.
Lower costs for Amazon can translate into faster shipping, more product choices, maybe even lower prices.
Right.
So it all goes back to that customer experience.
Absolutely. Which brings us to Prime Video. Amazon seems pretty confident about its future. What's driving that?
They're investing a lot.
Yeah.
In exclusive content. Thursday Night Football, the Lord of the Rings series, a lot more. Plus, there's the advertising revenue potential, which I think they're just scratching the surface of.
Totally. CEO Andy Jassy's 2023 letter, he talks about something called primitives.
Primitives.
I know, it sounds very technical. So break that down for us. What are they and why should we care?
Yeah, so primitives, think of it as like building blocks for innovation.
Okay.
So they create these foundational tools and services, right? Think of their massive logistics network.
Right.
Or AWS, their cloud computing platform.
Okay.
So these are primitives.
So they use these primitives for themselves, but then also offer them to other businesses.
Exactly. And what's really cool about this approach is it lets them move fast, experiment more, and ultimately it makes a better experience for everyone, including you. If you think back to one-click ordering, that was a primitive.
Right.
That made online shopping incredibly convenient.
Right. Okay, I have to ask about generative AI. It feels like the next big thing. What's Amazon's play here?
Generative AI, it's transformative.
It is.
And Amazon is all in on it. They have a three-layered approach, I would say. First, their cloud infrastructure is powering AI development.
Okay.
Then there's, Amazon Bedrock. This provides businesses the tools to build their own AI applications.
And I read that Bedrock already has some big names using it.
Yeah.
ADP, Pfizer, Delta Airlines.
Yeah.
It's not just a concept.
It's real-world stuff.
SaaS.
And remember, this whole AI revolution, it needs the cloud.
Yeah.
And Amazon, with AWS being the leader in that space, they're sitting pretty.
They are. So we've covered growth, these exciting new ventures, this unique way that they're approaching innovation.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the bottom line. How is Amazon's overall financial health?
Yeah, they're in a really strong position, I would say. They have strong cash flow from operations.
Okay.
Which means they have the resources to really invest in that future growth.
Of course, there are always risks. The report mentions things like economic uncertainty, competition, government regulation.
Yeah, all the typical things.
Is Amazon prepared to deal with these challenges?
Yeah, they're very aware of these challenges, and they have a history of anticipating and adapting.
Right.
So I think, we can maybe dig into some of the details of the report and see what they're actually doing.
Yeah, I'd love to. But before we do that, I want to jump back in time for a second.
Okay.
In his 1997 letter, Jeff Bezos said, and I quote, "It's all about the long term." I'm struck by how Amazon's focus on building this enduring value hasn't changed.
Yeah, it's really fundamental to their strategy. They're still obsessed with customers.
Right.
They're making these bold investments that may not pay off immediately.
Right.
But they have the potential to reshape everything. Just look at AWS, which took years to become the profit powerhouse it is today.
It's incredible how much they've grown. from this tiny online bookstore,
Yeah.
sticking to those same, core principles.
Amazing, isn't it?
It is. Well, let's delve deeper into that next.
Sounds good. So that 1997 letter from Jeff Bezos, it's really a goldmine
It is.
of insight into Amazon's DNA.
Totally. So, right off the bat, Bezos talks about this idea of creating long-term shareholder value. It's not about quick wins. It's about building a business that is going to last, that is sustainable. Does that still hold true for Amazon today?
Absolutely. I mean, look at their investments, AWS, Prime Video, even those kind of experimental projects like drone delivery.
Yeah.
These aren't about immediate profits. They're betting on the future. They're trying to create value over the long haul, just like Bezos laid out back then.
That long-term vision, it seems so deeply ingrained in their culture.
It is. It is. They're playing the long game, willing to be patient even when they're facing, these short-term pressures. And, those bold bets, they may take years to fully pay off, but they have the potential to reshape entire industries.
Absolutely. Bezos also emphasized market leadership in that 1997 letter.
Yeah.
He believed that, dominating their chosen markets was key to their economic model.
Right. And that belief has clearly driven their actions, right? I mean, they're leaders in e-commerce, cloud computing, even these newer areas like digital advertising, streaming entertainment.
Yeah.
They're not just participating, they are aiming to be the top dog.
Yeah. But it's not just about being big.
No.
It's about, what are the advantages that come with being the leader?
Exactly. Market leadership means greater scale, allows them to be more efficient with their resources. They have more leverage with suppliers. They can invest heavily in R&D. They can build a stronger brand.
Right.
That attracts both customers and top talent.
Another core theme from that 1997 letter is this idea of customer obsession.
Customer obsession, yes.
Bezos was adamant that the customer experience should be at the heart of everything Amazon does.
Right. And that's still true today. Think about Prime, one-click shopping, the vast selection they offer, their focus on fast, reliable delivery.
Right.
It's all about exceeding customer expectations.
Yeah. Back in 97, Bezos called the internet the worldwide wait.
The worldwide wait, I love that.
Highlighting, customer frustrations with slow load times and clunky interfaces.
And Amazon has consistently tackled those frustrations head on. They've invested so heavily in creating a seamless, intuitive, and fast online experience. And they've raised the bar for customer service, making it easy to return items, get help, find what you need. We take these things for granted now.
We do.
But this was revolutionary back then.
Absolutely. And speaking of being revolutionary, Bezos stressed data-driven decision-making, even in those early days.
Oh, yeah.
He talked about constantly measuring, analyzing, and being willing to abandon what's not working.
Yeah.
Was that kind of like an early indicator of their data-driven culture today?
For sure, yeah. They were thinking about data and metrics as vital tools for growth from the very beginning. That analytical approach is still in their DNA. They're constantly experimenting, gathering data, using it to inform decisions about everything, from product development to pricing to logistics.
So these principles from 1997, this long-term vision, market leadership, customer obsession, data-driven decisions, they aren't just history. They're still driving Amazon's success today.
They are, and it's a testament to the power of a strong, enduring philosophy.
Absolutely. But it's not enough to just have the right principles. You have to execute, translate those principles into action. That's where Amazon excels. They take these big ideas and turn them into concrete strategies and operational excellence. It's fascinating to see how they do it.
It is. It is. And it's that blend of vision and execution that makes them such a force to be reckoned with.
As we're talking about these principles, I'm realizing they're not just relevant to Amazon. They're applicable to any business, any individual striving for success.
Yeah, that's a great point. They're timeless, they're adaptable, they're valuable in any context where innovation, customer focus, and long-term value creation are key.
Okay, enough philosophizing for now.
Yeah.
Let's get back to brass tacks. We talked about their impressive revenue growth, but what about their profitability? Are they actually making money?
Yeah, that's the crucial question. And the answer is, it's complicated.
Okay.
I mean, their overall profitability fluctuates based on their investment cycles and the performance of different segments of their business.
Right.
To really understand it, we need to dig into their annual report.
Okay, let's open up that report, see what it reveals about their financial health. I'm seeing a section on operating income. Looks like they had a big jump in 2023 compared to the previous year.
Yeah, you're right. Operating income jumped to $36.8 billion in 2023.
Wow.
Up significantly from $12.2 billion in 2022. That's a good sign, shows they're becoming more profitable as they grow.
But you mentioned that profitability varies across the different business segments.
Right.
What's the breakdown look like?
So their North America segment is a major contributor to overall profits. In 2023, it generated $28.1 billion in operating income, a healthy increase from the year before. You know, their core e-commerce business in North America, it's still a powerhouse.
That's impressive. What about their international segment? Is it profitable?
Not yet. It's still operating at a loss, though that loss has been shrinking in recent years. It's a work in progress, but they're making strides towards profitability in those international markets.
Now, what about AWS? We talked about its rapid growth. How profitable is it?
Oh, AWS is a profit machine. In 2023, it generated an operating income of $22.8 billion.
Wow.
Remarkably consistent with the previous year.
Okay.
Despite heavy investments in growth.
Right.
This is a huge advantage for them in the cloud computing market. You know, they can reinvest those profits back into research, infrastructure, keep their prices competitive.
So we've got a profitable North America segment.
Yeah.
A growing, but still unprofitable, international segment. And a highly profitable AWS segment. What does this all tell us about their overall financial health?
It suggests that Amazon is well-positioned for continued growth and profitability. They have a strong foundation in North America, a rapidly growing and highly profitable cloud computing business, and an international expansion strategy that's showing progress.
Right.
They're not without challenges, though.
Right. We talked about those earlier, this idea of economic uncertainty, competition, potential regulatory hurdles.
Exactly. It's a complex landscape, but Amazon has a knack for adapting and innovating.
They do.
So it'll be interesting to see how they navigate these challenges in the years ahead.
Before we move on to their future outlook, I'm struck by the sheer scale of Amazon's operations. I mean, retail, cloud computing, entertainment, logistics. It's mind-boggling how many different areas they're involved in.
I know, right? And managing that complexity, that is a massive undertaking. They have to be incredibly efficient and adaptable to operate at that scale.
Yeah.
Especially as they continue expanding into new markets, launching new products and services.
Okay, let's take a step back and just summarize what we've learned about their financial performance.
Okay, so they're in a strong financial position. Robust revenue growth, increasing profitability, and healthy cash flow.
Okay.
North America is profitable. AWS is a profit powerhouse. Their international segment is moving toward profitability.
And they're also facing economic uncertainty, intense competition, potential regulatory challenges.
Right, it's a balancing act.
It is.
Yeah.
And let's not forget those core principles from 1997.
Yes.
That long-term vision, market leadership, customer obsession, data-driven decision-making, they're still at the heart of Amazon's operations today.
Absolutely.
It's not just about the numbers.
No.
It's about understanding the philosophy driving those numbers.
I completely agree.
Now for the final piece of the puzzle, what about Amazon's outlook for the future?
Yeah, that's where things get really interesting. What are their plans? What are their goals? What are their expectations? I think we can find some clues in Andy Jassy's 2023 letter.
Let's dive into that letter and see what we can uncover. All right, so Andy Jassy's 2023 letter. What's he saying about Amazon's future?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Well, he highlights right away that while their consumer business is nearing $500 billion, about 80% of worldwide retail is still happening in physical stores.
Right, so huge opportunity.
Still a huge opportunity for growth.
Even with their dominance in e-commerce,
Exactly.
Still a vast market to tap into.
And they're not just thinking about traditional retail. He also talks about like this ongoing shift of businesses to the cloud.
Yeah. And he mentions that even with their cloud computing business approaching like a $100 billion revenue run rate,
Wow.
over 85% of global IT spending is still on premises.
So the potential for AWS is
Enormous.
enormous, yeah. It seems like they're just getting started. Jassy also sees opportunities in media and advertising.
Yeah, he talks about how content will continue to kind of migrate from these linear formats to streaming.
Right.
Which creates, more opportunities for Prime Video in their advertising business.
And he even mentions global broadband expansion.
Yeah, he points out that hundreds of millions of people who lack adequate broadband access will be coming online in the next few years.
Wow.
I mean, that's a game changer for Amazon. Imagine the new markets and customers they can reach.
So they see opportunity in retail, cloud computing, media, advertising, global broadband expansion. Anything else stand out to you in terms of their future outlook?
Yeah, one thing that really stood out to me was Jassie's statement about generative AI.
Okay.
He suggests it could be the biggest tech transformation since the cloud, maybe even since the internet.
Wow.
It's a bold prediction.
It is.
But it shows how much they believe in the power of generative AI to change, really, everything about how we work, live, interact with technology. And Jassy is making it clear that Amazon will be a major player in shaping that future.
And he talks about, their investments in AI research, development infrastructure, and of course the importance of AWS as a platform for AI innovation.
Right.
It seems like generative AI is like a core part of their long-term vision.
Yeah.
But they're not just building their own AI applications.
Right. They're creating tools and platforms like Amazon Bedrock.
Right.
To empower other businesses to use AI.
So smart.
It is a very smart strategy.
Yeah.
By making it easier for others to build and deploy these AI applications, they're expanding the AI market and positioning AWS as the go-to platform for AI development.
It's a win-win.
Exactly.
So, to recap, Amazon sees a future brimming with opportunities.
Yeah.
In their existing businesses and new frontiers like generative AI.
Totally. They've got the history of innovation, the customer obsession, the data-driven approach to capitalize on those opportunities. But we can't ignore the challenges.
We can't. This economic landscape is always shifting. Competition is fierce. The regulatory environment is becoming more and more complex.
True, but Amazon has always been remarkably adaptable, resilient.
They have.
So it'll be fascinating to see how they navigate these obstacles and what new innovations they bring to the world.
All this talk about their successes, it reminds me that they've also faced their share of criticism and controversy over the years.
Right, that's a valid point. I mean, they've been scrutinized for things like labor practices, their impact on small businesses, their tax strategies, and their use of data. These are complex issues with, no easy solutions.
Right. And it's important for us as consumers and citizens to think critically about these issues and hold companies like Amazon accountable.
Totally agree. And it's also important to remember that, Amazon is not just some faceless entity.
Right.
It's made up of individuals, people making decisions every day that shape the company's direction.
So it's not just about understanding their policies and their practices, but like the people.
Yeah.
And the factors that drive those decisions.
Absolutely. And it requires, a more nuanced and empathetic perspective.
Well said. Well, as we wrap up this deep dive into Amazon, I'm left with a sense of awe at their accomplishments, but also a healthy dose of caution about their power and influence.
Yeah, I feel the same way. They're incredibly innovative and ambitious, but their size and reach do raise, valid concerns.
And that's why it's so important to stay informed, ask tough questions, and have these conversations about the role of technology in our lives and in society as a whole.
Absolutely. Knowledge is power. The more we understand about companies like Amazon, the better equipped we are to make informed choices as consumers, investors, and citizens.
Couldn't have said it better myself. This deep dive has been a fascinating journey.
Yeah.
A huge thank you to you for sharing your expertise and insights.
Pleasure.
And to you, listener, thank you for joining us on this exploration of Amazon. We hope you found it insightful and thought-provoking. Until next time.